Hey, good morning, everybody. Can you hear me okay? Since I'm in a new location,
Yes.
new gear. Okay, cool. Cool. Now, let me see if I do something here. I wonder. Do. When I put my camera on, I think I go away when I leave. Can you all still see me or no? Because I opened up another screen because I'm
Yes.
on my phone.
Yes,
We can see you.
Say it again.
yes, we
Yeah.
can see you.
Oh, you can see me. Cool. Awesome. All
And
right.
you look terrific.
Awesome. Yes, I tried some new skincare called Sleep. All right, we're gonna get started in just a second. I'm excited. I'm in Dallas, Texas today, getting ready to go to a 2-day mastermind with Kyle Wilson. Tuesday, I'm going to ask if you'd like to participate in our book launch. Powerful lessons from thought leaders, and there's 26 celebrity authorities who are going to be in it. Mitzi Perdue, who's she's an angel. Love her to death. Mitzi Perdue, Les Brown, Brian Tracy, just unbelievable. Are celebrities that are going to be a part of this book, that are a part of this book. And Tuesday it launches, so you'll see some content and some information coming out. So not only do we have the mastermind this weekend, Kyle has the mastermind this weekend. He's leading it. And then we launch the book on Tuesday. And with all your support and all of the other author support, it's kind of like a Tim Ferriss book, just thought leaders. There's 4 parts to everybody's interview, and it's kind of cool, the conversations. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. So that's another topic. So today the conversation is about decision making and the power of commitment. So Monday we talked about identity. Or day 1 we talked about identity, who we are, what we are, how we are. Then we talked about creating vision and understanding how important it is to create vision. And today we're going to be talking about decision making and the power of commitment. That's a different, right? There's the joke that goes around when we talk about commitment or interested, right? A lot of people are interested in their success. They say the chicken was interested in success. The reality is the pig was committed for the bacon, right? So there's a big difference. There's an all-in kind of process. So as we get started, I just want you to settle in. Take a big breath. Become aware of your ability, your brain's ability, your body's ability to make decisions, right? And the sheer power that you wield, that you have available to make decisions. So imagine you're moving towards the destination you want. See yourself knowing that you make decisions rapidly. Napoleon Hill said the secret to success, one of the secrets of successful people is that they make decisions rapidly and are slow to change them. You need to give your body a chance. You need to give your mind a chance to make decisions and then experience the results. If you have, as you gain more and more confidence in your definite major purpose, you will find that you make the right decisions. The indecision that comes along with life, the indecision that people have, this delay, this procrastination, this need for perfection, it's an illusion. It's the highest form of procrastination. So today we're going to talk about decision making. So session 4, this session dives into the transformative power of making clear, intentional. You may want to write that word down. You're going to hear that a lot over the course of these sessions. Intentional decisions and committing to them. So many people struggle with indecision, fear of making the wrong choice. How many of us know people like that? And the reason is because we're playing so shallow. We don't have, we think that any decision is a lasting decision. It's only a start. Once you make the decision, it's over. Then the action comes. And a lot of people are afraid to take the action necessary. So they wind up staying stuck. And we're going to learn about how to confidently make decisions that align with your goals. See what we said there. See how we snuck that in. If you're fearful of making decisions, it's maybe because you don't have a destination in mind. Imagine if you had to take somebody to the hospital and it was a fairly important emergency. Not life-threatening, needing an ambulance, but you needed to drive them there. And you needed, like, your bride is about to have birth. And you're like, oh, baby, we need to go. What do most families do if mom's pregnant? What do? Well, they prepare suitcases, right? They get their hospital bag ready. They get all the bag ready. They check out the route to the hospital if they haven't been before. They do all this preparation. So now it's the day, my water's broke, get me to the hospital, baby's coming. Do they go to the park? They may stop off at a fast food place and get mom a burger and a pickle or something, but they're going to the hospital. The reason is because there's a big enough why to keep them focused. So let's look at the psychology of decision making. So understanding how decisions shape your identity. Remember on day 1, I asked you to look at your hand. And yesterday, I think was yesterday visualization. I asked you to visualize that hand receiving. All of those were decisions that you made. You know what the other biggest problem is? Write this down. Decision fatigue. You want a good example of decision fatigue? Go to the bread aisle in your grocery store. And somebody says, get me a loaf of bread. And just stand there and say, get me a loaf of bread. Of what? Isn't that decision fatigue? Get me some chips. There's a whole aisle of chips with Thai flavor and chili flavor and jalapeno flavor and popcorn flavor and pickle flavor chip. Decision fatigue. So what happens if you make the proper decision? What happens if you make the proper intention? Right? And then write this down. Write these 2 words down. Reactive decisions and proactive decisions. I'll tell you what they mean. I'll give you my differentiation between them. So reactive decisions and proactive decisions. Reactive decisions are made from fear, here's the big one, and habit. Reactive decisions are when you yell at the TV because somebody came across the TV that you don't like or you do like. Reactive decisions are the way you respond when somebody cuts you off in traffic. Reactive decisions are when you see somebody around you that's a box of rocks and they're winning and you're not. Those are things made from habit and fear. Proactive decisions are made from purpose and clarity. You woke up this morning. Some of you, after 5 years, 6 years now of doing this, it's a habit. You wake up in the morning, you're like, I need my Sean time. And it's not necessarily me, it's this space that you've given yourself. So made from purpose and clarity. What do you want from today? Did you set your intentions for today already? I hope you did. So understanding that those are the only two kind of decisions, right? Joy, Sadhguru says, you're either in joy or misery. That's it. Joy is a choice. Misery is you letting life happen to you. That make sense? So now let's look at this idea of the power of small, intentional decisions. Right? How small of a decision can you make? How small of a decision can you make? How small is the decision of deciding you're going to be in joy? How big is the decision you're going to be in joy? Isn't that like a Willy Wonka everlasting gobstopper kind of thing? Starts off small and just can go on and never ends. How small could a decision to be joyful right now be? And how impactful could it be? So choosing to wake up 10 minutes earlier and journal instead of hitting the snooze. I will tell you this. Science shows that the faster you can get your brain into complex activities the moment you wake up, the easier the rest of your day will be. What I mean by that is start doing math. Wake up. 2 and 2 is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. Activate your brain. Let your brain know that it doesn't get to snooze. Start reciting your intention. Start saying out loud your gratitude. Oh, I'm now aware of my awakeness. I'm so happy and grateful for the sheets that I'm under. Start your gratitude from the second, because here's what I know. How you begin your day is how you'll end your day. And the faster you can get your brain to break habit, and the habit is pattern, is by you waking up, journaling, writing, doing complex stuff, rather than starting to let your mind just sit and begin to worry about the day. Isn't it true? Isn't it true that if you wake up and have a good day, it probably started from a good morning? When you have good days are better than bad days, right? Do you realize that you have complete control over whether you have a good day or a bad day? Didn't say good things or bad things are going to happen to you. I said you are going to have a good day. You've got to make that decision. And that happens in this moment. It's only a split second of a decision. You don't have to go research the Library of Congress, which, by the way, is about 25 petabytes of content. That's a whole nother story. When you look at making a decision, you have to decide how fast and how long you'll stay. Now, when you make the decision to get into joy, small decision, how long should it last until you need to make the decision again? Can you make the decision twice in a day to be joyful? A dozen times in a day to be joyful? 100 times in a day to be joyful? When's the last time you made a decision of 100 positive experiences? You want to know an easy way to do it without having to think, am I joyful? Say thank you 100 times a day. Thank the person who hands you your coffee. Thank the person who brings in the shopping carts. How many of you have ever thanked the person pushing in the shopping cart? Makes your day. They think you're nuts. And that's okay. That's okay. Thank the people stocking the shelves. Hey, thanks for keeping it nice for us. You're welcome. This isn't about them. That's addiction to approval. You're worried about what they're going to say. Don't be worried about what they're going to say. If you're saying it in love, they may not be ready for the love, but you helped them get started. So here's the big thing. You want to know what the wrong decision is? The one you never make. My daddy said, listen, you may not make the best choice, but it's better than a wrong decision. When you make a decision, you get options. You get results that allow you to move forward. The challenge is too many people are sitting on the start line and they don't have any results to figure out which way to go. So here's something to sit in for a second. So I want you to think of a decision you've got to make today. Think of a decision you've got to make today. One that's a little bit of a struggle, right? One that's it makes you want to just, not, maybe there's a decision you have to make that would make you want to crawl back under the sheets and go to bed. I want you to get that decision. Y'all got it? Y'all got your decision that you got to make? A little bit of, okay. What are you going to make me do with this? You're going to make me do it, aren't you? Right? That's probably what your brain's already saying. You're going to make me want to, I have to do this. Now, hang on a second. Y'all got your decision? Watch this. I want you to turn yourself into the most successful version of you, the version that you're shooting for, the DMP. You've arrived at your DMP. You have arrived at your goal. You've arrived at your money success. You've arrived at your decision process. You are now the successful person you have set yourself up to be. It's a year later. You've reached your targets, reached your goals. And now with this mindset, look at the decision you have to make. Did it get easier or harder? And if it got easier, all we did was change our perspective. Right? What did Wayne Dyer say? Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. When you are faced with a difficult decision, it's because it's your past. Any decision you have to make that's a little bit of a challenge, that breaks habits, that breaks patterns, the you of your future will find it easy to make that because it knows that if we make that, we can get there sooner rather than later. I don't feel like working out today. I don't feel like working out today. That's your current self. I work out because it's who I am, even on tough days. It's about changing our words. It's our brain talk. It's our brain talk. What's the one thing that happens if we seem to have a bad thing happen? What seems to come more, good or bad? If we have some bad things happen, it's momentum. It's called decision momentum, right? We talked about decision fatigue. Now you have to become aware of decision momentum. Today is kind of a tactical session, right? So decision momentum, how a decisive decision, how one particular decision can create the momentum needed for changes. What's a decision today that can start the momentum, that can start the process? Kyle Wilson teaches, find the domino that knocks down all the other dominoes. How many of you have seen that insurance company ad or where they have the little tiny domino and it knocks over the next one that's just a little bit bigger, and then the next one's a little bit bigger, and by the time it gets to like the 13th domino, it's 10 feet tall and 2 feet thick, and you hear tick 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 doosh. That's momentum. We want to find the one little domino that knocks over all the other dominoes so that you can get some momentum in your decision making. You've done this before. It's called raising a kid. You've done this before. It's called having a relationship. And it really helps to have momentum. Imagine this. Imagine if I were to set up 10,000 dominoes. I don't know that I'd have the patience to do that, but let's just say I did. And I set up 10,000 dominoes. But after about the first 100 dominoes, I move the line. Instead of the lines being like this in order, I move the second line just one domino wide over to the right. I spent all of the time putting up all 10,000 dominoes. And I say, come on, let's go. Wheezy, why don't you go knock over the domino? Really? I get to knock them all over? Yeah. And you go, and go, and it stops at 100. And everybody's looking, going, why aren't the rest of them falling down? Because one domino was out of the way, wasn't in alignment. You know what the challenge is with most people today because of the social media onslaught of needing this and algorithm that and doing this and need that background and font, and their dominoes are never lined up. Don't have alignment. It's called intentional decision making. Don't have a DMP in place. Don't have your 2025 goal locked in, burned into your story. That's why we started with the 5 pillars. Who are you? What's the word that works for all 5 pillars? If you remember, Heather said, word, it makes me feel proud. Can you be proud of your mind, proud of your body, proud of your society, proud of your family, proud of your finances? Doesn't that word work in all of those? So that whenever you focus, because there's no such thing as balance, I can't be working in my family and working on my finances in the same moment. Because one, I'm asking for people to give to me. I need to receive. Family, I need to receive, but I also need to give to my family. I'm working on my family and my finances. That's my intention when I come to these events. My family, you're not even with your family. I know. It becomes wildly available, wildly important to me to do my best so that I don't ever have to be away from my family. So when I make these sacrifices, right? Somebody's got to get up and feed the sheep after this call. I'm not there. Or maybe the sheep, they're a little fat. They can go a day, right? A morning session. They can miss a morning meal. It'll just be loud. But I made this decision intentionally, knowing that this is to build my family, because I need to feel the pull. I need to feel the want, the desire to be able to do this. Next time, maybe bring the whole family. Not a lot of theme parks in Dallas, but you know what I'm saying, is to come see family, come see friends, all of that stuff. But it was an intentional decision. When I leave my driveway, it's intentional. When I'm on the other side of my driveway, on the ranch, it's intentional. but I make these decisions. Everything is a decision. Is that making sense? So start with habits today that lead to aligned actions. Ask what's the ripple effect. This is about decision of self. You'll find out that when you start to align your decisions, you're going to see how addicted to approval you've been, how much addiction to the approval. Well, what are they going to think about that? What are they going to do? What are they going to say about that? You're going to find out that was running in the background. That was the Wizard of Oz. That was the guy behind the screen running you. Just making sense? So how many of us fear some decisions, fear some judgment, fear of failure, fear of the unknown? That decision that I asked you to make earlier, then I said, go become your best version of yourself. How hard is it to make the decision? Think about a decision you have to, what's the worst thing that could happen? It's called reframing. Reframe the decision. What's the worst thing that could happen? And it's feedback. So let me ask you, if you align your decision making, you come up with your word that you can use in all of your pillars: family, finance, body, mind, society. If you find that word, find that vision, find that mission, how much feedback do you want? Don't you want the feedback sooner? Don't you want the feedback as early as possible so you can align your path, get clearer a lot sooner? There's a lot of people who 30 years down the road realize, this isn't what I want. Do you think you're going to be running into some people who are busy, but they've got the ladder up against the wrong wall? Stephen Covey, in the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, said, too many people are climbing the ladder, right? Climbing the corporate ladder, only to find out that the ladder is up against the wrong wall. They don't even want it. So wouldn't it make sense for you to start with, what is it that you want to feel like? We talked about how thoughts generate our emotions, and our emotions are what drive. Thoughts do not drive your subconscious. Thoughts do not drive your primordial brain. They do not. They operate strictly on emotion. There's no words in your limbic system. In the amygdala there's no words in your amygdala. The limbic system gets a jolt of feeling from your prefrontal cortex thought, and you wind up paralyzed. You wind up in a comfort zone. So, you heard me talk about clarify, qualify, create expectation. Use this for your decision making. All right, I've done a whole training on clarify, qualify, create expectation. So let's use this formula. Let's see the CQCE formula. CQCE, clarify, qualify, create expectation. So clarify, what's the decision I need to make? How many of you realize that sometimes the decisions you need to make, they weren't really decisions? How many of you know, listen carefully, y'all ready for this? Here's a little punch in the nose Friday morning. It is Friday, right? Is today Friday? So here's the little punch in the, how many of you know that you know what you need to do? You're just not doing it. It's not even a decision. You know you need to do it. You don't have to go, I wonder what, no, you know you need to go do it. So clarify, do I really need to go do this? Now, some of the things you don't need to go do, the decision is you know you need to go do it, but it's really a waste of time. You know it's a waste of time. That's why you're delaying in it. Or you know it's going to really catapult your life and change your identity, and that's why you're delaying it. But you know the next thing you need to do, you know. It's what comes after that you don't know. And that's maybe why you're delaying the one you know. So qualify. What skills, right? This is the 3 questions you ask at night, or the last question you ask at night are the 3 questions. What talent or skill do you need? Qualify. If I make this decision, what do I need? Qualify. What do I need to make it the best decision? Do I need a skill? Do I need a talent? Do I need a resource? Do I need to ask somebody else for guidance? What's the qualify? Qualify the decision. Is this taking me towards my path? You're going to find out there's a lot of things that are on your decision list that are going to get tossed off as soon as you get clear on who you are and who you're becoming. I want you to think of something right now that no longer needs to be. I think in corporate world, they call it the decision tree. I want you to decide something right now. There's something you know right now that doesn't even need to be in your decision tree. It shouldn't even be taking up your time. But you've been pondering over for weeks. What is that decision? What's that thing you've been wondering about that it doesn't even matter? Is it waiting on somebody to apologize to you? You waiting on to apologize to somebody else? Is it are you waiting on something and you're waiting on something to make a decision? Are you waiting on something are you seriously going to tell me you're waiting on somebody else for you to make your decision? I don't know. And then create expectation. What are the possible outcomes? What's the worst thing that could happen? What's the best thing that could happen? I can promise you can influence that. How many of you have seen recently, it's been going around recently, that they had this little tiny robot. And this robot goes randomly inside of this square and leaves a mark. So it draws this mark as it's going around, and it randomly covers this little 2-foot by 3-foot box. It's just random. And they put a baby chicken in the box. And after about 3 days, this robot, this non-living entity, winds up the lines that it was drawing that were completely random and all over and evenly spaced are now all tied to the corner where the chicken's at. It's literally in one quadrant of the box, simply because another living entity, and the baby chicken doesn't care about the robot. But the robot wanted to be close to the chicken. And it happened time after time after time after time. So if you can go Google it, chicken and robot. I don't know. You may get some funny cartoons if you do chicken and robot, but baby chicken and robot experiment. What is the expectation? What I'm saying is that when you do the CE, create expectation, you can influence the outcome. How many of you believe your thoughts can influence your day? And if your thoughts can influence your day, they can influence your decisions. They can influence the results of your decision. You know this. But maybe you haven't decided that it's what you want. So here's the audit decision, right? The decision audit. So think of a recent big or small ask, a small decision. Was this decision made out of fear? Think of a decision you've had to make recently. Was it made out of fear, habit, or alignment with your future self? Was it made out of fear and habit, or was it made out of alignment with your future self? Now, it's okay. Listen carefully. It's okay that you maybe thought it was your future self, but you realize now it wasn't because you weren't really clear on yourself. But just become clear of it. This is an audit, right? Don't we want to know where the money's leaving? Don't we want to know where the energy is slipping away from us? Don't we want to know how many of you ever been in a room and you said to somebody, is the window open? It's like cold in here. No, there's no window open. I swear there's a window open, and you feel it. And then what do? You go look to see if the windows are open. You're like, this window's open. Oh yeah, I forgot. I cracked the window the other day, and right when it was warm, I cracked it, and now it's cold, and it's like the cold is just blowing in. That's all this is an audit. It's just to go and review. Because if unless you see that it's habit, a habitual, a hedonic decision, you won't change it because you can upgrade your habits. So the decision you made, the most recent decision, did it work or not work? And if it didn't work, is there a way, is there something you could do now, something you could have done now, an awareness? I know as when I started my sales career 40 years ago, um, I'd leave a sales call and go, oh, should have said that. Uh, oh my God. That was it. That was the buying signal right there. They gave me the buying signal. They tossed it over the net and I missed it. Didn't happen the next time. Now more of those happened because I needed to do my own self audit. That's all this is. Skipping a workout, skipping drinking your water, skipping journaling. Is that a decision made out of habit and fear and discomfort? What happened? Would you miss a journaling day or gratitude day if it was in alignment with your goals? You guys know that I'm a little goofy and kooky sometimes, and things mess up with me, or I'll mess things up or forget to do things. And I show up. You can count on me showing up. You can't count on me being, always organized. And you put up with that. Some of you, it drives you nuts, and you still put up with that. And I appreciate you for that. That's your decision. I make a decision to see how I can get better, and I'm getting better. So understand you need to do a decision audit. These are big tasks, big tasks. But how many audits do you need to do to make adjustments? Right? Think about that. What happens if you go in and there's a really big audit, right? You got to clean out the garage. That's when you open the door, stuff falls out, right? That's a big audit. But once you get it, you can keep up with it, right? And that's the thing about you setting your identity for your future self, is that when you decide that you got to dig in, you got to go get the black garbage bags and the big cans, and you're going to throw away a lot of thoughts, a lot of ideas, a lot of things that aren't serving you. Right? The easiest way to do that is go put everything in a storage facility. I don't recommend this. Go put everything in a storage facility. And then go decide to move it when you're mad. You're like, just draw all this crap out, just burn the whole thing. Not saying that's a good solution, but you'll wind up getting rid of a lot of stuff. Why did we even move this? So here's a future decision practice. There's a little exercise. So exercise 1 was the decision audit. Exercise 2, here's the future self-decision practice. Ask, if you're facing a question right now, if you got a question on your task right now, ask, what would my future self do in this situation? Give yourself that perspective, right? Ask for the archetype to show up. How would I feel? How would it feel to act as if I were already that person? And make the decision, commit to making the decision as your future self, right? I can tell you, I wanted to be in a book. I didn't know that I would be a 6-time #1 best-selling author, 5-time, 6 with your help on Tuesday, #1 best-selling author. I'm a 6-time #1 best-selling author. I make decisions now as I look at things as somebody with that title. Would a 6-time #1 best-selling author do that? Is that qualified? Does that add to more of my qualification? Just saying, as a world-class fill in the blank for you, world-class mom, world-class teacher on empty nesting, think about it from a world-class perspective. Because here's the thing, you can be number one in the world in your niche. What does that mean? You got to get really specific about your niche. Nobody can do what you do. Nobody can do, listen, every one of you on here, every one of you watching this live right now or watching this recording, nobody can do what you do. You get that? Nobody can do what you do. So you can be world class. I had a conversation with a family last night. Mason and their son and Mason grew up together from kindergarten. So our families are close. And I was sitting in the youngest daughter's in high school. And we were sitting there having a conversation. And she deals with some migraines. And I had to say to her, I said, I know you know me as Uncle Sean. I need you to know I'm in the top 100 in the world in the field that I'm in. She's like, what? I said, yeah, I'm in the top 100. I'm probably a lot lower than that. But just for us having S and G's right now, I want you to really understand, I know what the hell I'm talking about. And it took on a whole nother level, right? Because they only see me as the big, loud, goofy. And then when I talk to them about this stuff and do these things, they're like, man, that just seems weird. But now with the credibility that comes along with it, it changed the way they looked at things. So it's okay for you to blow your horn a little bit. I can promise you, until other people are blowing your horn, you need to blow yours. You need to do some interviews. You need to have some conversations. It's why you get on podcasts. It's why you go, you guys should be interviewing each other on this call. If you know some of the other people who are part of this community, you should be doing interviews and bragging on each other. That would be a good decision to make. How would that help with your future self? Okay, before I get run off on a tangent. Number 3, here's a third exercise. Power of commitment. Write down a decision you've been avoiding. This gets you to commit to it. Set a timer for 5 minutes and explore why you've delayed it. And then create a plan of action to take action on this decision in 24 hours. What's a decision? Set a timer, 5 minutes. That's it, 5 minutes. Why have I been delaying? And write down as many points as you can. And then once you find out those reasons, those decisions, those delaying factors, set a plan to take action and put a solution in place within 24 hours. You'll find this so empowering. So empowering. So, what's a small decision I could make today that aligns with my vision in 2025? Right? This is all about setting your DMP. Understanding it. What's your reminder so you can act as your future self? Got a name for your future self? Got a feeling for your future self? Going back to Heather's conversation, does this decision make you proud? Will this make you proud in 6 months, in 3 months, in a year? All of these are designed to help you have confidence in making decisions without overthinking. Because what happens if you don't make a decision? You wind up with failure. You're not moving. You're not in action. So this process today was to help you to create more confidence, clarity on how small, consistent decisions. If you talk to somebody who understands the liver and understands the kidneys, they'll say, if you're going to drink water, please just sip it throughout the day. Don't go and drink a liter of water and go, I drank a liter of water. That's almost not, it's good. It's not bad, but it's just so hard. Your kidneys, it's kind of like driving a car at 80 miles an hour with the door open and telling everybody, get in. I'll pick you up. I'll drive by your house at 80 miles an hour. Jump in. You can say you went by the house. You can say, hey, I went by to pick you up. You didn't get in. Well, I can't get in. You're just, right? So these little constant, consistent, small decisions on a daily basis, on a minute basis, on an hourly basis. Check in. How do you feel right now? Do you feel better? How do I feel now? What could I do to make myself feel better? That takes 30 seconds. And I'm okay if you do it once every 5 minutes. You'll be amazed at how fast 5 minutes goes. And what you're doing is you're setting a framework for it. So what if you tracked 3 decisions? You got 3 decisions coming up. What if you tracked them? Are you making them faster? Are you making them in alignment with your dreams and wants and wishes? Are the results coming faster once you make the decisions? A lot of times you can make a decision to plant a tree. Old men shouldn't plant trees if they plan on sitting under the shade. But old men should plant trees. So understand how fast the decision comes. The results come from your decision. Make some bolder decisions. What's a bold decision you could make this week that would make you feel uncomfortable? So there you go. Does that make sense? What'd you all learn? What'd you like? What's your takeaways? Actions are a little different when I'm on all this. And here's the cool thing. We just did all of that from my phone. I was able to open another screen. I'm just saying that you can do these things. You don't have to have the whole kit and caboodle. Technology doesn't limit you in you going to build your business anymore. So questions, comments, thoughts, takeaways. What'd you learn? What'd you like?
Good morning, John.
Good morning, Silky.
I have to say, I was beating myself up this morning until you said, because I make decisions quite fast. So that's not my issue. But what happened yesterday and what I got this morning for feedback was not what I expected. So when you said the wrong decision is the one you never make, I thought I made a wrong decision by sending out what I wrote. Remember, we talked about yesterday what I needed to write, and I wrote it, and I sent it to several people, and I got good feedback until this morning. But because I got good feedback and I got amazing feedback from Janita, I sent it off immediately to Ted because that was my decision. All right. So I didn't think after that. I was really excited. She said it's incredible. Okay. Immediately I sent it, even while I was taking care of my horse at the barn when I got that. All right. So then this morning I get very bad feedback from chat about this, that I am not creative enough and nobody's going to want to sign up with me reading this. So, but you now made me feel better. That even though I made the wrong decision to send it, well, I figured he was busy. It took a long time till very late last night, which I only got this morning, that he actually responded to me. I didn't want to wait that long because I wanted Ted to have what he asked for. So thank you for telling me this. I will make the decision. I don't, I'm still grappling with what am I responding to chat? Well, maybe how can I be more creative would be the question.
Well, so remember this. My father taught me this. There's 2 ways to have the tallest building in town. Build yours bigger or tear everybody else's down. There's a lot of people who will spend all of their energy and all of their effort tearing down everybody else's building. And nobody wants to be around them because they only have a one-story building. They're telling everybody, I have this mansion and this giant cathedral of experience and expertise. It's a one-story building because they spend all their energy tearing everybody else's down. So if you have multiple people who say it was a good read, I'd go with the multiple people. It's okay to get feedback that somebody goes, wow, that was horrible. Okay, isn't that, so learn the phrase, isn't that fascinating? Isn't that fascinating?
I love that. Yes.
And so now all of a sudden, okay, so maybe it could have got better, but here, my mentor always told me this, your first one's your worst one. And if 6 out of 10, 6 out of 5, 6 out of 7 people liked it, that's a good read. And I can take the worst story about me and leverage it into the greatest recruiting tool ever. Because it was my first one. It's my first one. Hey, listen, I got asked. Here's the good news, ladies and gentlemen. I got asked. What you might read might not be a Pulitzer Prize piece of literature, but they asked me because they knew that I would make the decision quickly. I got the answer to them, and I wasn't afraid to show up. Could I have done better? I'll do better on my next one, they ask me. But the next time they ask me, I'll be more prepared and I'm ready. So my suggestion to you is if you're looking for somebody to lead you into this business of network marketing, of building on your dreams, you're going to have to take action quick. In 72 hours from the time they asked me, I delivered the result. I'm sure I could have tweaked it or done something better, but I got it done. How many of you are waiting on success? Don't wait on success anymore. Let's go get it done.
Thank you, Sean.
You're
made
welcome.
Me feel better.
Good.
Thank you. Thank you. And
You
I
are
wish
welcome.
you a wonderful day and weekend in Dallas.
I will. I'm actually upstairs in Lisa and Curtis's office up here. So
Lisa told me you were staying with her. Yes.
Yeah.
With Steve, I guess. Lisa is not even there.
Right. Yeah. No, Steve's downstairs. Love it. Love it. Love it. And Shami, I'm glad you love the audit exercise. It's amazing what happens when we start to look at how hard we beat ourselves up. Absolutely. 100%. Thank you, Sophie. Who else? Thoughts, comments, questions, takeaways, lessons?
Morning, Sean.
I'm so happy to have you, Shami. Good to see you here. Good morning, Diane. Zalika.
You look good in that pink shirt today.
Thank you.
It looks like it fits the shoulders too.
Yeah. Courtesy of Ruth and Gang.
Exactly.
I wore big shirts at the A&MP, and Diane and Ruth were together, and they're like, we're not going to let him look like a bum. He looks good, but most people don't know what he could look like. So we're going to fix him. So Diane and they pretty much tackled me. Give us all those shirts. Like, what?
No, you look good.
Thanks, man.
Brings out your blue eyes. The whole way you did this today, you know, the clarify, qualify, and create expectation. I know you've talked about it before, but the way you broke it down with the decision, like the decision momentum and decision audit, it really went to a different level with me, and the power of commitment. So I see it from a different perspective now.
And it's not a huge shift, right? It's only that the Wallace D. Wattles. It's not about doing certain things. It's about doing them in a certain way. So you were on the same line. It's just that little shift. And so be aware, Diane, that little shift makes a huge difference. It's as if you go into the Matrix and all of a sudden you step through that wall. It's just as thin as a sheet of paper. You step through and you're like, oh, that's what was behind all of this. So I love it. That's awesome.
And I'm going to make that bold decision. Yes. And I love the way you did that description with Silky. Um, it is looking at a different perspective, isn't it? Looking at a different way.
Well, if we are wired to beat ourselves up, and 7 people go, man, this is awesome, I love it, and one person, again, they're usually people of influence. You know, well, that's stupid. Oh, it's no good. No, it's not. Nothing's good with it. 6 people said it was good. 3 people said it was awesome. I can tell you this. My mom, most of our moms could, but my mom could look at me and turn me into a shivering bundle of nerves with a look. So what happens is if we're wired for that, we're hypersensitive to it. And there's some people that I've had in my past who mentored me and said I was doing great, but the way they said it made me feel bad. When I learned that this idea of what do we call it? When you with criticism, a constructive criticism. It's not constructive when it's a sledgehammer. It's constructive when it's a remodel. But too many people swing a sledgehammer and it's called destructive criticism, not constructive, destructive. Constructive criticism would be, that's so awesome you did the article, right? They need to read the book by, is it Earl Nightingale? How to Win Friends. Yeah, Earl Nightingale, How to Win Friends and Influence People. There's a process called the sandwich method. Dale Carnegie, the sandwich method. A sandwich method is tell them something good, hit them with the hard stuff, tell them something good. Sandwich it. Don't take my bread away. I don't like to eat a meatloaf sandwich without bread. Give me the bread. Give me the good and the good when you whack me, so that I can hear the whack and not just be beaten up. So, yeah, cool stuff. I'm excited for you, Diane. I know what that means for you, this awareness, because there's some big things you've got planned. Cool beans. Cool. So I'd love this. What is your takeaway? And this is for everybody. What's your takeaway from the first 4 sessions? What's your takeaway from this? What would you say to somebody? And this is kind of me getting a testimonial from you. What would you say to somebody who sees the marketing material, sees the 15 sessions listed out in the topics? What would you say about the first 4 days? How would you describe it?
It's amazing, and this is world class. And what we did in these 4 days, you could really put it into a longer session. I mean, it's just all these nuggets, and I think we understand it because we've been with you for a while, and we can see how your brain works, and it's how it's changing our brains. But like this 4 days could really be a month session, truly.
Well, it is part. So these are all of the tips of the iceberg of the mentoring program, right? We have there. You can see we're just skipping tip of iceberg, because I'm giving you great knowledge, but you all know it's nowhere near the depth of what we can talk about on my experience. Cool. I love that, Diane. Thank you.
Hey, can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Okay. So for me, the biggest thing is I actually thought about it last night. For me, the course is pretty much causational. That's a real word, I know, but one thing causes the other. And when you think about where do you start? Well, you start with the identity, right? And then you work your way towards, okay, so you have your current identity, then you work your way towards the visualizing part and the vision casting where you want to end up basically. And then obviously along the way of you becoming that person at some point, right? You have limiting beliefs, you have decision audit, and you have a couple more things that we're gonna go through in the other sessions. So for me, that really makes sense because it's really causational. One thing causes the other. And then just what you said, I actually thought exactly about this last night. Oh, my camera is not up here is. I thought about how every single thing we talked about, I mean, every little detail, everything could be a lesson on its own. I mean, we talked about identity, but then we talked about all of the stuff that goes in the identity. And then, we talked about the vision casting, and then you talked about how to enhance the vision, how to enhance the emotion feeling, how to enhance the certainty, because the devil is in the details. And, all of that can be a lesson on its own. So I know for me, and I hope for other people as well, but I think folks at home are gonna be rereading these notes and rewatching the videos for a long time because what we're about to do in 15 days, that's just like Diane said, this is not a month, this is a year of work, I think. In terms of, getting to, first of all, know where you are, and then work your way towards where you want to be, and then actually doing the work to get there, so for me, number one, the causes, one thing causes the other. Number two, devil is in so little detail that it is just ridiculous. And then the third thing for me is I'm really excited about wrapping this up because the way I feel is when we wrap up the 15 sessions and we say, okay, we've done the decision of self, kids, and right now you got a lot of homework to do. I think for me, that's when the real work starts, for me, at least. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Love it.
We can all listen. So as you were speaking, AJ, one of the things that I listen in imagery. And what I mean by that is I'm shown images in my mind and then it gives me the story. So here's the story I was heard. We are all given the golden ticket, right? The Willy Wonka golden ticket. But once you find the ticket, you got to arrive at the factory. Right? And as you go along the way to the factory, people are going to try to steal your ticket. And they're going to steal your ticket. And then when you get in the factory, you're going to be tested. You think you arrive when the little kid arrived at Willy Wonka's factory and all of the kids arrived, they think, I won, I'm in. No, you still got tested in the factory. And there's only the 5 of you now, and you're being tested in the factory. And you need to have the discipline to not touch the stuff, to not touch the fizzy bottle and go to the ceiling. Now we got to clean the fizzy ceiling, blah, 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 all of that stuff. So that was the image I saw, the Willy Wonka golden ticket, which tells me to share with you this story of, yeah, the 15 days is you weeding out getting the ticket. And when day 15 wraps up, you now have the ticket. You got to go into your own factory. And because he gave it up and gave back the secret gobstopper and everything else, he goes, Charlie, you did it. Charlie, you did it. You showed love. It comes back to love. Will you love you? I can't love you more than you love you, but I can love you as much as you love you. Because I got an abundance of love for you. For every one of you. Because every one of you have love for me. Can you go? Exactly, Diane. Are you ready for the love? All of this it's constantly, are you ready for the love? So I thank you, AJ, for that. And I'm excited that you're on this journey with us because the AJ that's here today has gone through a hell of a lot of growth. And I applaud you and I'm in awe of you. And you're a good mentor to me to show what is possible when you make the decision. And I love that I know the 6mm man.
I mean, listen, next May, is it? The
April,
ranch thing is
the
in
event.
April. Okay, well, in April, you're either gonna see me at the ranch or you're gonna see me on CNN, all right? A guy from Eastern Europe beat up like four immigration officers and had a fight with TSA and had a brawl with the police or whatever. I'm just
They
kidding,
drop
but
you off in a
thank you
straitjacket
for
going,
that.
we don't even want him.
Oh, yeah.
You take him.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine me going up to the embassy and saying, so I need to get a visa because I know a guy in Arkansas that does some stuff on the internet and we've been internet friends for 5 years and I never met the guy. And I'm actually going to meet the guy and then they say, well, okay, yeah. let's give
I'm
you a
going to
visa."
his
So,
ranch.
I'm going to his ranch. The guy who lives on the ranch, he's my internet best friend, whatever.
That's like
But yeah,
Michael's
and
music
another
when
thing
he.
actually, oh yeah. Another thing, from today, this is the aha moment for me today. I never thought about the fact that when you not do something, it's a decision. I always think about me doing something. What can I do? What more can I do? Can I do this workout? Can I do this diet? Can I do this sales program? Can I do this sales scripting? Can I do this course? Can I do, but along the way, all the things that you don't do, I haven't thought about that as being a decision itself. And for me, that's a big aha from today, so. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, no decision is as powerful as any decision. Totally get it. Go ahead, Ben.
I would say to kind of summarize, past 4 days would be clarity through streamlining the thought process. And that is just in the fact of all the decisions we have to make, you're not giving us. They're already the thoughts and what we wanted to do the whole time. You're just reminding us that the distractions are exactly what they are, the distractions. The doubts, the fears, whatever it is, distraction. My takeaway from today, I have two of them. One was you said it in a couple different ways, but you said the wrong decision is still a better decision. Or you said it's something like this, that you're not always going to make the best choice, but any choice is better than no decision or something like that.
You'd never make a bad decision. You could always make a better choice.
Gotcha. So that was one for me because I get decision paralysis. Like if there's something I want and there's two good options, like my wife makes fun of me, the bride makes fun of me about it. I'll sit there for 15 minutes just staring at them both. So that's mine, is just make the decision. And then the second takeaway today, you said nobody can do what you do. So then I put a ... What is that?
That's your secret sauce.
Yeah, that's the question I'm going to be working on over the weekend. I'm sure hopefully I can kind of come to it over the weekend, but if not, that's the question I'm working on. Nobody can do what you do. What is that?
So start to come up with the evidence of what you already know that you do that nobody can do. Nobody can be the dad to my 3 beautiful kids, 4th one on the way.
Right.
Start there. Because otherwise you're going to be looking for evidence. Nobody's got a passion to have a coffee shop like I have. Nobody has a passion to take care of my family, even though I'm 3 states away. Or 4 states, or however far you're away. Right?
Just one state. Texas.
Just one.
Texas is big enough. Texas is
Oh,
big enough.
that's right, Texas. So yeah, few people have the commitment, right? Because there's some people there that may be away from their families as well on the site that you're on.
Right.
But you made the decision because temporary pain is better than long-term poverty. You got to start giving yourself some pats on the back, brother. Otherwise, if you leave the ... and don't start with it, you're going to wind up on Tuesday with ... You got to realize you've already got a bucket full of things that make you the only one in the world that can do what you do. Feels different, doesn't it? Sassafrassa, riggedy, riggedy, raggedy, rudda, rudda.
Yeah, I guess it's just not looking at the question in the same thing of being rewarded for what should be done.
Right, because you want to beat yourself up. Do you want to be the flail and flag and pummel yourself to death and because you're not good enough? You've already proven you're good enough. You got 3 healthy kids and a beautiful bride. Start there and then see how little you think of yourself. Let me see if I can tell you you're a bad dad. You a bad dad?
That's the one thing, definitely not.
So I would start there. There's a lot of kids who don't have good dads like you.
Right.
You know how many families out there are lacking good dads like you? So suck it up, Buttercup. You're a good dad. Start there. And make the future decision to be able to teach your boy how to be a good dad. Your decision you make today will affect your grandson or granddaughter. Be a good granddaughter, be a good grandson. You want to get clarity real quick? How will this affect my grandchildren? You'll get your ass in gear and go work out. You want to be around for your great grandkids? You want to be 90 years old sitting on the porch and going, oh, they're ever going to come by? Or are you running out to meet them?
They're running up to meet me.
Yeah, they're running up to meet, but you can pick them up. Can you pick them up or do they have to hold your oxygen bottle? Don't come to this legacy fight with a pocket knife. You ain't going to win.
Yeah. I always think I come with a good aha. So I was like, I've already heard this. Thank you for a starting ground. Thank you.
You're welcome, brother. Thank you. Love you bunches. Proud of you.
Love you, brother.
Anyone else? Last thoughts, comments, questions, takeaways. I told you at least one of us would always have fun when we do these. Sometimes both of us.
Shots fired.
Happy
shots
Friday.
fired.
Happy Friday.
Thank you for the reminder that there's a ripple effect with every decision and every commitment.
Yep.
Thank you. And thank you for the reminder that I am a world-class alternative health professional. Thank you.
Nobody has a racetrack to go treat people in.
Yeah.
Nobody's got 17 sets of steps in their house to go put people on a walking path.
Oh,
Right?
yes.
I love it. Listen, this is the house to come learn balance. You're gonna go to lunch and the bathroom and over here to the table. And if you can make it there, your balance is improved. I promise you.
Exactly. I promise you. Have an amazing time, and thank you for taking care of you this weekend.
Yeah, this is gonna be fun. I'm excited about it. Lots gonna be happening. My goal is, my intention for this event this weekend is to be the best student possible. To hear things that I hadn't heard before. Because again, Kyle's going to be teaching the same thing. We all teach from our experiences. He'll be talking about the book. It's their 15th book that he's launched. We'll be talking about a lot of other things. But I think with a lot of things behind us, regardless of who won the election, nobody can be talking about the election and complaining about candidates. It's done. You can still be complaining, but the big things that were looming, right, are done. There's other things that are looming. 2025, there's things that are looming. If you owned an LLC, the Texas State Supreme Court just said that if you owned an LLC, you were going to have to tell them who you were and who owns it. They just made that unconstitutional. So all of these big things for business owners that have switched and changed, I think there's a breath in the air. We can take a breath. And so at least I know I can, just because I don't have to listen to all of that other stuff. And I'm going to be a good student this weekend. I'm going to ask more questions of myself. You guys know I take notes with questions. There's going to be a lot of questions. I've got one of my thick journals with me, and I plan on filling it up with a lot of pages. And when we go on breaks where everybody's talking about the past, right? One of the things you've heard me say at the A&MP in different places, when you go at lunch, don't talk about your plane ride here. Don't tell me what you've been. Don't tell me what you got. Tell me where you're going. I'm going to spend a lot of time with myself, asking myself, where am I going? A lot of times they're going to be conversations by myself, because most people want to talk about, so how was your trip here and where you been and what have you been doing? I don't care. I mean, I love you. But if I'm sitting in a world-class mastermind, I don't need to know what you've done. I need to know where you're going. What you've done isn't going to help me. I need to know where you're going so I can follow or decide not to. Either way is fine with me. So that's my intention.
And I look forward to the ripple effect
Yeah.
from your weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And there may be an impromptu something. I don't know. We'll see. I just have a good feeling about all of them. But this one, there's a centering to it that I think is going to come from it. So we'll see. What you think about. We'll see. Yeah, buckle up. Yeah, sometimes I come back with whiplash with y'all. So
Love it and love you. Thank you.
love it. Love you too. Thank you. Last thoughts, comments? Going once. Going twice.
I have a question.
All right. Hey, listen, everybody. I love you tons. I appreciate you. Thank you for being part of session 4 of the 15-day session. Safe travels to you, D, wherever you're at going in the world.
GoPro.
I'm your head brain training, brain scrambling misfit. I'll see y'all where?
The next event.
I love it. Somebody give me some Costa Ricas.
Pura vida.
Pura vida. We love you, Mark. And some Lydias.
Peace be with us.
Peace be with us. And some Jesse Lee Ward.
Boss Lee.
And Little Smile Gurgly.
Oh, no.
We love you, Fifi. We love you, Fifi. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you. See you on Monday. Monday. Nothing tomorrow. So work on reviewing your notes, like AJ said, and working through the process. We'll see you all on Monday. Love you tons. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Love y'all. Have an amazing day.
Weekend, Sean.
Thank you.
You're supposed to be DJing that GoPro. Where you at? I'm waiting for you.
I hear you.
I love it. I appreciate
Love
you.
you.
Enjoy
Love
the
you,
day.
brother.
Happy Friday.